Okay. Hi there. Let's see. Stop share. Just want to say hi. I hope everybody's doing okay out there. Um, I've muted you guys so that there's no way for me to hear you. But if you want to say hello in the chat box and let me know how you're doing, I'll start in maybe just another minute or so to give people a chance to join. Can everybody hear and see me okay? You can just write in the chat box if you can hear me and if you can see me, and then we'll get started. Yep, you can hear and see me. And I think probably sometimes when people join from phones, it's a little tricky to bounce back and forth. But just a reminder, so as we move through the workshop today, you'll need something to write with, just to take notes with. Or you can set up your screen so that you can see the workshop on one side of your screen and then a Word document on the other. And this way you can take notes. Okay, so I think hi there. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and yeah, video is completely optional too. Like, and some people, I like video, and I like to see the people that I'm talking with, but it's totally up to you. Okay, so I think just in the interest of time, I'll go ahead and get started, and we might have a few people jump on as we go, but that's okay. So let me just move to, I'm just going to share the screen with you for most of this chat, so you should see some text, but you should also see my face and be able to follow along. But here we go. Let's see, share. Okay, great. All right, well, welcome to the Map Out Your Life workshop. That sounds like a pretty massive task, and typically mapping out your life probably is. We all are very complicated human beings. But just a little bit of background about why I'm doing this and who I am. My name is Christy Nichols, and my company is Venture Within. I spent the last 20 years educating high schoolers, college students, professionals, primarily in the area of leadership and personal growth and wellness. And with Venture Within, I run overseas retreats that offer transformational experiences for people who are going through life changes, and usually sometimes in careers, sometimes in relationships. You know, every single one of us is going to go through a transition at some time, and there's not always a method of how to do that with ease or without panicking, or how do you maneuver through obstacles in life in the best possible way where you're coming out on top, right? So that's what my retreats do. I have an online coaching and mentoring program that is, those workshops from the retreats have been extracted and are delivered in online one-on-one private coaching sessions. So while I think travel, like getting out of your routine, is a fantastic way to start the mental shift, we can't always do that, right? So sometimes we just need to start embedding these conversations and these workshops into our lives straight away. So that's what the online mentoring workshop is. I'll tell you more about that later. But this is a workshop I love to give at the start of every year. I do it for my friends and neighbors. I do it for myself. And I do it through free webinars, which is what this is. And it is a workshop that you can take it away with you today, and you can start to implement changes in your life right now. Beginning of the year, beginning of the decade. Some of us are going through some new changes in our personal life, like how do we or professional life, so how do we make sure we're mapping that out right? So that's what this workshop is all about. And just to let you know, what we're going to be doing today is, it's going to be like 3 different sections. So the first one, we're going to look back into our past achievements, right, and our past strengths, and kind of get an idea of where are strengths that we can leverage. Then we're going to look towards the future and really start to envision where we see ourselves in the near future and in the distant future. We're going to look at our mental roadblocks and start to dissect the things that kind of hinder us from moving forward. And lastly, we'll learn some new tools that you can take away with you today, so that you can start to use these techniques to get yourself on the straight line you want to be on, right? And all of this is really, it's so simple. It's just to give ourselves a life that makes us happier, right? And these little things I'll show you today. So this is for you if you are a professional transition. I tend to work with um, a variety of people in transition, like people who are out of college, new to the workforce, not quite sure, not quite steady on their feet. I work with people in their mid 30s, early 40s who are just like drawing the line in the sand with their career, and they want something new, they want new challenges, they want a new environment. But it's also like they're seeking a community. They're seeking um, how do you like saddle into your new position with ease, you know, like new things are hard. So that's what these workshops are sort of geared to help you feel confident and clear. So yeah, working with young professionals, like help them, you know, kind of build like their expertise. You know, maybe they have a degree, but they don't have a history yet. So how do I help those people kind of find the path that's for them? Or people who are stuck in a rut, like people who haven't made a transition yet and who are like burnt out, like something that gave them passion once has fizzled out. So where do you find your passion? Like how do you focus your energy and your efforts into something that really drives you? You know, every day we wake up, like, are we going to wake up doing something we love, or are we going to wake up doing things that we hate and that eat at our time, right? So I also work with entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur 10 years now. So I'd love to tell people tricks of the trade that can save them time so they can learn from my mistakes, basically. But also to help people who are in between that stage of like, you know, as an entrepreneur, you've got a great idea, you've got momentum, you're excited, you're throwing your energy into an idea. And then over here is like victory and success and profit. And then there's this dip in the middle, right? Where everything kind of sucks. You're tired, you've been working really hard, you haven't earned anything yet. And so I help those entrepreneurs to keep going with just not just advice, but like strategies they can use to keep them focused, you know. Anyway, so that's who I serve, and then I'm glad that you guys are all here. And with that, we can start moving forward. So do make sure you have something to write with and something to or to type on your computer, whatever setup works for you. Nothing will be submitted, nothing you need to share. Nobody needs to type. This is 100% an independent activity for you. But if you want to share, it's always awesome to share in a community of people, like what your thoughts are. So it's completely voluntary. Okay, so if you guys are like me, you've already had a working morning and you might have a working day ahead of you. And who knows what you've been going through with like family, relationships, career, life. The next half hour is just for you guys. So I want you to start by taking a grounding breath. Everything that's happened this morning, just leave on the side. Everything you have to do, that's on the other side right now. I just want you to take a slow breath through your nose. And slowly exhale. Anybody who does yoga knows this really helps you ground yourself. Anybody who doesn't do yoga will have felt the calm anyway. So we'll take it one more breath. Okay. Right. So what I would love for you guys to do now is to reflect on some of the highlights of your own past, right? And I'll do this too. I want you to write down 2 to 3 achievements that you've done that you're really proud of yourself for having achieved. This could be running a marathon. This could be starting a new job. It could be um, getting into a new relationship that scared you, getting out of a relationship. It could be moving to a new country. It could be starting your own business. It could be learning the guitar. It could be taking on a challenge you didn't ever think you could take on. But think about something you did where you're like, oh yeah, I did that, that makes you feel good. And once you've written something down, I want you to write down the next important part is what did you learn from them? It's all well and good to like tap ourselves on the shoulder, but like what was it that you learned from your achievements? Just another minute. Now, you might need more time to write this out than we'll have in this workshop, but that's okay. Like, whatever you don't finish now, you can, after the workshop, you can go back and you can flesh these out a little bit more. I highly encourage you to. And I'll be sending you guys a recorded version of this so that you can watch the replay and like hear it again and just maybe spend more time on these if you like. But I'll just share mine for now. And this is, you know, for me actually, I mean, I don't know, there's a workout crew here, and I've never, you know, I've always exercised, but in the form of like hiking, walking, you know, doing my own thing, yoga. But there's like a circuit training workout class here that I didn't want to join. All my friends were doing it. I thought it was hard. I would run away from the classes. I would leave halfway through. I thought it was too tough. I'd get mad. And I like get it. So I'm one of the things I'm really proud of myself for doing the last 2 years is I just snapped out of that bratty attitude basically and just started to really commit to focusing on a new form of exercise that was actually better for me. You know, it's all circuit training and weights and like things I still kind of hate actually, but I've committed to it now. Like I go like 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm really proud of myself for committing to that type of physical exercise and improvement because I really hated it. Like for all my life, I never did it. And what I learned from that is I'm actually stronger than I think I am. Like not just physically, but like I'm mentally stronger now. It's really just a mind game. Like, can you keep going? Can you like control your thoughts in a way that allows you to advance? You know, it's all this stuff that I've learned. So I'm proud of myself that I'm committed to that. But I learned that I can actually do more than I think I can if I just give myself the chance. And that probably no, it applies to different areas in my life too. So. Does anybody else want to share something that they're proud of? And feel free to type this up in the chat box if there was something. Buying a house. Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge one. That's still on my to-do list. Okay, so you're proud of yourself for buying a house. And what did you learn from that? Like what did buying a house tell you about yourself? Financially capable flying solo. Amen. Honestly, that's a big deal of going. So the only relation I have to that is this is my third business, my first one on my own. And it's like it's your own, but then all the problems are yours too, and all the stress is on yours too. But yeah, flying solo when you do it, that's a fantastic feeling. Congratulations. That's really cool. Okay, so now I want to move on to like the second part here, in which is like envisioning the future. So we've just kind of looked at the past, and I want us to hold on to those strengths about ourselves, about our capabilities, and just remember that we are achievers. And now I want us to look into the future and see what we want to achieve next, right? So this is a little bit of a specific writing exercise, but I want you to envision your future, okay? And I want you to be very detailed, right? So you know, what do you look like in 1 year? Do you have a haircut? Do you have a new job? Are you living in a new city, a new country? Have you got a promotion? Who's around you? Do you have a kid? Are you married? Are you divorced? Do you have a new pet? Have you become a really awesome surfer? Have you learned how to cook healthy meals regularly? I'm just trying to think of things that I that I can relate to, but I mean, these are all important, but I want you to be specific. So where do you live? And what are you surrounded by? Don't just think of like big lofty goals, but like I'll show you right here. I've got this beautiful plant that I want more plants in my house, you know. So in a year, like I'm terrible in the garden, but I would really love a house that, you know, I feel like the more green you're surrounded by, the more healthy plants you have in your house, the more positive the energy. And I just want a home that feels good. And I do little things for my home to feel good. But I know that in a year from now, I want my porch to be flowery, you know, green leafy plant, you know, these little things like this. And that's the kind of specificity I want you to think with. Where are you? What are you doing? What are you surrounded by? And what do you want to be feeling? Write that down. What do you want to be feeling in 1 year from now? And you guys can always feel free to jump into the chat box and comment or not. These are actually really private workshops too, so it's totally okay. Okay, and while you're thinking about what you want to be feeling in 1 year, I want you to just look a little closer than that. Look 3 months into the future. Okay, where do you see yourself in 3 months? To be sure, like where are you in 3 months to be sure that where you want to be in 1 year happens, right? So for example, if I want a garden in a year, that means in 3 months, I will have needed to go to a local nursery and picked out some plants and actually made a plan, right? I will have needed to have done, taken one step forward. So I want you to write down, like, what steps do you need to be at in 3 months from now that'll be on track to where you want to be? Write that down, your 3 month placement. Give you a few more seconds to flesh that out. And then definitely come back to this after the workshop. So I'll move forward, but you guys all need to take your time with this because I do. I usually spend a few hours on this. But now I've taken you from the past, looking at the things that you've done super well. And then we've moved forward into the future, looking at where you want to be directing your life. But now I want us to look at the present, right? And the present is what we have to deal with. So we've got things we've done that are tools, that's our arsenal. And then where we want to go in the future is our drives, our goals, it's our desires and dreams. But what's happening now? Because we need to be focusing on the now if we're ever going to get there. So I want you to think about now and answer the question, what does a meaningful life look like to you? What do you want to achieve? A meaningful life, one with like family, nature, adventure, friends, travel, a job where you feel like incredibly on purpose, right? A job that's fulfilling in some way. You know, with Venture Within, I help people create full and meaningful lives. But the full and meaningful, that's very, very subjective. It's what you want. So, what does a meaningful life look like to you? What do you want to achieve? Now, I also want you to look around you right now, and what kinds of things are in your life, and I want you to write down what is standing in your way. What is stopping you from living that life? And it could be something tangible like finances, it could be time, it could be an unsupportive boss, could be an unsupportive partner, could be yourself. You know, we get in our own way all the time. We are our own worst enemies on occasion. What is standing in your way? Name it. What's standing in my way from getting those plant? Nothing. Nothing. I just need to do it. So I'm standing in my own way. And next, if you recognize the problem, you recognize what it is that's standing in your way, write down what have you done to try to solve the problem. What have I done to try to solve the problem? Well, for me, my neighbors downstairs have beautiful gardens, and I've already expressed that I want that too. It's not enough, but it's what I've started to do, is I've started to voice what I want. You can do that with your own situation too. What is standing in your way? Voice what you've done. Are finances in your way? Have you redone your budget? Is a unsupportive boss standing in your way? Have you talked to other colleagues or tried to talk to your boss or talk to your boss's boss? What have you done? If your challenge is you want a new job entirely, have you started to look around and shop to see what's in the market? Have you started to revise your resume? What have you done to fix this thing that's between you and your future? And now the next question, this is actually sort of a sore spot, but it's an important question to answer. What are you doing to not achieve your goal? Okay, we do this all the time. When I was trying to work out, you know what I was doing to not achieve my goal? I was sleeping in. I was going to breakfast. Those are all wonderful things too, but did that help me have a better physical, like healthy side to me? No. You know, so sometimes we do things to not achieve it. We do get in our own way. What have I done about my plants? Well, I've killed one. It didn't water it. You know better. So what is it that you know you're doing to sabotage your own ability to move forward? It's got to be honest with ourselves. And these are why these workshops are private too, because we all have it, but we all don't always want to share. So if we're honest with ourselves, that's the most important thing. Okay, so what are you doing to not achieve this goal? You can come back to that one too if you want. But the next question, what do you need? Right? What do you need right now the most to help you get there? Right? If you've already said what you want, you've said what's blocking you, you've said what you're doing, you've said what you're not doing, what is it that you need? Do you need to join a club or some sort of society or community group? Maybe you just moved to a new location and you want to join like the local soccer team, local volleyball. Do you need to sign up for a course on Udemy to learn some new business skills? Do you need to set time aside for yourself? Do you need to meditate more? Do you need to dedicate one entire day to self-care? Spa, walks, hiking, journaling, spending time with friends. If you're trying to nurture a relationship, like what do you need to start reaching out to people? What can you do right now? What do you need? Do you need time? Do you need money? Do you need love? What is it? Just name it. Okay. So I promised you this workshop would map out your life. And that's what we've got here, mapping it out. I want you to start to think in terms of where you're at with how you can start to take action towards moving yourself from where you're at now to where you want to be. So I've listed here a few dot points that I want you to think about in terms of your goal, right? We all have goals in all of these elements and more. Career goals, health goals, relationship goals, life motivation goals, time. What do we want to do with our time? Travel. I didn't put travel up there, but that's a very important one. Sports. What is it that we want to be doing? And I want you to choose just one. We don't have it's a bit overwhelming to fix all the parts of our lives at the same time, but just choose one for today. And I want you to write down a goal you have for yourself in the next 3 months in any of these areas. What is your goal? Career. Do you want to have received a promotion? Or do you want to have found a new job? Do you want to have committed to yoga 3 times a week? Do you want to nurture a relationship with a family member? Do you want to start doing more things for yourself? I listen regularly to webinars, podcasts. I read things that I think will help me become a better person. And that's what life motivation is. What is it that helps center your thoughts so you create this life? Do you want to have more time? Okay, so choose one of these areas. What's your goal? Just write it down. Can be super simple, wherever you're at right now. And do a little bit more private journaling. I told you there'd be a lot of writing. But this is important. It's important to give yourself time to not just think about it and wonder while you're doing something else. But writing helps you focus even more on your thoughts. And thoughts always become things. So pay attention to your thoughts. So what is truly important to you, right? And so when I'm asking you this question, I'm asking you because I want you to make a list of your priorities. What is the most important thing to you? It could be family, career, health, hobbies, but what is it that matters to you the most? Maybe it's family, maybe it's financial security, maybe it's a home. What's truly important? Then with everything, life is a balance, right? So we can't always add. We have to clean out the closet if we want to bring new things into our lives, right? And it's the same with our mind, it's the same with our heart, it's the same with our life. So when there's something that's truly important to you, so for example, one of the examples up here was about financial stability. Okay, well, the trade-off of having financial stability is that maybe you switch jobs. Maybe you put in extra hours. Maybe you spend time learning a new skill that'll earn you a higher paycheck. What is it? So there is always a trade-off, right? So, and when you have that trade-off, the key is to accept it. For my business, I work all the time and I work late, never early, I work late. But what's the trade-off? Well, that means I don't have evenings to myself watching Netflix or having dinner with friends. I mean, I do weave that in, but my trade-off for running my own company is that I work longer nights. That's worth it to me because I love what I do. So that's what I mean by finding a trade-off. And focus on that. Just know you're going to have to give up a few things, but it's in the interest of getting something better. And lastly, I want you to think about your limiting beliefs. The coaching and mentoring program I do, we nail this down. What is it you tell yourself that changes the way you're thinking so that you don't move forward? We're terrible. We do this to ourselves all the time. So what is it that you think you can't do, or think it's going to be too hard, or think it's not for you? That's all crap. But write it down so that you can get rid of it. Okay. All right. So how are we doing? Is everybody still okay out there? Yep. Cool. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see all the things I can see, but all right. So now, like I said, I want these workshops just to be one-off completely, things that we do so that we can just walk away with this freebie that's important, So I want you to think about something you can do straight away in this next week. It's going to make you happier and lean into that more meaningful life we were talking about. Now, this isn't a goal in 3 months. It's not where you want to be in a year. One thing in the next week that's going to make you feel good, right? It can be, maybe it's writing a letter to somebody. Maybe it's taking an entire morning off of social media and anything else and just taking yourself to the beach or something, like doing something just for you. Maybe it's calling and organizing a lunch date with somebody. Perhaps you really you've been looking at getting an animal or a pet and decide to go to the pet store. What is it that you can do that's going to make you happier and be more in line with your own values and sense of purpose? Very simple or very big, but what makes sense? And I want you to take that one thing and you have to calendar it. So I told you earlier, my background was in education. So once a teacher, always a teacher, and I always give homework, right? So your homework is not that I'm checking up on you, but this is for your benefit. Calendar in what's the one thing you're going to do to make you feel better. For me, I've been kind of slacking on my yoga. So Thursday's yoga day. Put it on your calendar. Make it real and a part of your plan for the day. I often email myself a reminder, like, don't forget, like, gonna do yoga. So, and I make sure I get myself that reminder. And have somebody else hold you accountable. Like, sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves. And sometimes we go the other way and we just let ourselves slack off. Don't let yourself slack off. If you want to do something that you know is going to make you happier, do it. And tell somebody else that you're going to do it. So for me, I would make plans to do yoga with somebody and then it happens, or have them ask you, did you do this? Did you go write that letter? Did you make a lunch date? Did you, once we put it out there, sometimes it's harder to not do it. Okay. So while you guys are kind of planning out calendaring your one thing, it's a first step, right? And then once we start to make these first steps, then that's when we start to form a habit. And then a habit becomes just who you are. And then who you are is who you're trying to be. It really does work that way. And that's what I do in the coaching and mentoring programs. I've got I don't know if anybody here has looked deeply into it, but it's 3 months of, basically it's just like this. It's like one-to-one video sessions. And I've got, structured curriculum and activities, but they are pliable around what you're going through. So we talk about our values, we talk about our purpose, we look at our pain points, we look at our strengths, and we fuse that into something that should help you navigate through your life and get to where you want to be. And I 100%, I've been using the same or variations of these same workshops for the last 10 years and all my retreats and all my programs. I use it with my staff, I use it myself. I see the fruits of what happens when people commit to this sort of personal, mindful, I don't know, people call it mindfulness, wellness, life coaching. I don't know. It's just making purposeful steps to get you to where you want to go. It works. Like with anything. You go to the gym, you lose weight. Take a cooking class, you cook better. You focus on this, you become a better person. But anyway, so this workshop again was just taken from the coaching and mentoring program. I'm offering them now, but that's what I wanted to tell people who attend this. They get a discount, right? So online it's one price, but you guys get 30% off just for having committed to the webinar. So I'll send you a link in another email with both the replay of this, but also a link that gets you that lower price. And then I always put up so what happens typically is my clients, I don't know, we become friends. And so I get WhatsApp messages and texts from people who even after the program, we just kind of keep up with hey, I did this. Hey, I talked to my boss. Hey, I started my own company. It's so exciting to see what people do when they've pivot and focus. So anyway, I'm going to give us we have 5 or 10 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, I can answer any questions here that you want. It can be questions about what we talked about in this workshop. They can be questions about the full coaching and mentoring program, or it can be about the upcoming retreats, anything. So I'll stick around if anybody has questions. If not, then thank you very much for being here. I hope that everybody in this room took something from this and that it helped you in some way. So I'll send you an email with this recording. It'll be ready tomorrow, but I'll send you this and a couple links. But just honestly, just reach out anytime. I love this, so I'm hoping that it helped you in some way. So on that note, are there any questions at all out there? If not, you feel free to just sign off and Enjoy the rest of your day.